Okay guys, Dr. H here with a quick newspapers revision session ahead of the GCSE media exam on Monday the 10th of June. So I'm going to be talking about newspapers in the context of industry and audience, as it's most likely to be on section B of paper 2. The first thing I want to talk about is news values. The news values are the close study product. So I've come up with an acronym to help you remember the 5 news values, and that is FIST with a PH. So the first one is proximity, closeness to home, how close a story is to the place in which the newspaper is published. So H is for human interest. Does the story engage people on an emotional level? Is it a story about a litter of cute puppies that were born or some celebrity scandal that's unfolding? I is for importance. A minor falling out between Barbados and Trinidad is very, very different from a major falling out between the USA and Russia, China, or North Korea. S is for significance or size. How many people are going to be affected by the story? How big is the story? Again, to use the Trinidad and Barbados example, that's going to affect a few 100,000 people. The US gets involved with something, we're talking about millions, possibly billions of people being affected by it. T is for timing. How recently did the events of the news article take place? Generally speaking, news events that have happened more recently are more likely to appear in newspapers. Some people ask me what news values are for. News values essentially determines what makes it into a newspaper. Is it important enough to make it into the newspaper? So let's take a look at the news values of our 2 close study products with reference to our FIST acronym. First of all, the one story to appear in both newspapers is the Muirfield Golf Course story. This is a human interest story with some importance and significance in terms of gender relations. In the climate of the Me Too movement and increased awareness of feminist issues, stories about the equal treatment of men and women are more likely to feature on the page because of their importance and significance. Timing is important as well because this is a recent story. As the story is happening in Scotland, which is part of the United Kingdom, there is the news value of proximity as well. This is very close to home. It's something that's happening on our island. Sticking with gender issues, the Times newspaper has a front-page article involving Angelina Jolie and her role as a visiting professor to the London School of Economics. Economics and politics are something stereotypically and traditionally identified as male spheres of influence, so having a prominent female actress speaking at the London School of Economics provides an unusual human interest angle. Anyone who's seen any of her films or knows about her humanitarian work will wonder what she is doing there and are more likely to buy the newspaper. The Times also features the story of a transgender fell runner jailed for stabbing an official. The proximity and importance of this story revolve around the victim, who was a UK athletics official. One might question the need to include the information that the person convicted was transgender or was a fell runner at all, though these both provoke human interest angles. People are more interested because it is a transgender person. People may also be interested to know what their link was to UK athletics. Returning to the Daily Mirror, their main inside article, Prey and Display, features elements of human interest, importance, and significance. Representations of elderly people traditionally paint them as vulnerable and in need of protection. This article provokes a human interest news value because it tells the story of people exploiting the vulnerability and trustworthiness of elderly parking patrons. One of the issues likely to come up around newspapers is the issue of horizontal integration. Horizontal integration is when one company owns several other companies at the same level of production. For example, the large news conglomerate News UK owns The Sun, The Times, and The Sunday Times, and used to own the News of the World. All of these companies report on the news in print newspapers. Horizontal integration is different from vertical integration, where all of the companies owned are at different levels of the production chain. For example, a film distribution company, a film production company, a visual effects company, and a sound company may all be owned by the same parent company, but they all do different things. They work at different levels of the chain of production, therefore they are vertically integrated. There are several advantages to horizontal integration. Let's take the example of Rupert Murdoch's 65 Australian newspapers. If one of those newspapers suddenly goes bust, it won't have much of an impact on the rest of Rupert Murdoch's news empire. as the other 64 newspapers will easily be able to cushion that loss. Furthermore, owning lots of different companies at the same level of production means that if one of those companies does go bust, the expertise and employees can be shuffled around and given jobs in the other newspapers that are owned by that company. But there's another big advantage as well, which we can see if we look at the newspaper front pages on the day of President Trump's state visit to the UK.
It's very sad.
The Times newspaper leads with May to take tough line with Trump over China, though the picture seems to feature a smiling Trump and Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. By contrast, the Sun newspaper features a headline, "Harry gets the hump over Trump," referencing Prince Harry's reduced involvement in the Donald Trump state visit after President Trump allegedly called Meghan Markle, Harry's wife, a nasty woman. The theory with horizontal integration here is that those readers who follow the royal family and celebrity will be interested in the human interest story of Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and their spat with Donald Trump. They will buy the Sun. On the other hand, those following the political story may be more interested in Theresa May, the outgoing Prime Minister, taking Donald Trump to task over the US's worsening relationship with China and an impending trade war. Either way, News UK makes money. If you're interested in politics, you buy the Times, and News UK makes money. If you're interested in celebrity and the royal family, you buy the Sun, and News UK still makes money. Horizontal integration allows newspapers to target multiple different audiences at the same time and avoid competing with itself.
It's very sad.